Arithmetic, ratio, proportion, and percent. A ratio is a comparison between two amounts of the same type. It is the relation amongst two numbers. It is the division of two numbers. Remember in class we said it's a fraction where I have A over B. Another way to write it would be like this, and the way to read it is A is to B. A is the antecedent and B is the consequent. Example of ratio. A football team has the chance to do 5 goals, but they only did 3. So they did 3 goals out of 5 possible goal chances that they had. Another example, Juan got 23 correct answers in a biology exam with 25 questions. He got 23 correct answers out of 25 total answers. A proportion is an equality between two ratios. A over B is equal to C over D. Or, in the other way, you can read it A is to B as C is to D. In this case, A and D are called the extremes. B and C are called the means. Again, A and D are the extremes, B and C are the means. We have different kinds of proportions. We can have a direct proportion or we can have an inverse proportion. A direct proportion is if one of the variables increases, the other one will also increase. And if one variable decreases, the other will also decrease. You can use the cross product to solve this kind of proportion. The inverse proportion is if one of the variables increases, the other one will decrease and vice versa. We will see examples so you understand. For example, with the direct proportion, if you buy a pencil that costs 10 pesos, if you increase the number of pencils, then you will increase the amount of money that you need to pay for it. On the other hand, if you decrease the amount of pencils, the amount of money will be decreased as well. Example of an inverse proportion is, for example, if a group of 7 workers need 5 days to finish a certain work, if you increase the number of workers, the amount of days that you need to finish the work decreases. If you decrease the amount of workers, the amount of days needed to finish the work increases. A percent. A percent represents a quantity compared to 100. In other words, it's a part of 100. To indicate the percent, we use this symbol, and after the quantity, and it is read percent. In this case, it is read 20%. 100% will represent the total of whatever you're talking about. And for example, talking about the 20%, 20% indicates it is the fifth part of the total. It is possible to establish a proportion in which one of the ratios has a denominator of 100, and then you can look for percents of numbers. Lots of data are managed in real life as percents because it lets people have a better idea of the information presented. For example, a salary increment of 5% is written on fractions, and it indicates that for each 100 pesos of salary, there will be an increment of 5 pesos. Another example, if a meal gives you 20% of the calories needed for the day, the corresponding fraction will be 20 over 100, and it means that the meal provides 20 parts out of 100 of the calories needed for the day. The procedure to find a percent is, first of all, you need to write the corresponding proportion and solve it, like this. Find 15% of 220. First of all, the 15% goes in one side of the equation. It is 15 over 100. The number that comes after the word of always goes down on the other ratio, and you just fill it with an X. The left side is the ratio representing the percent. Again, on the bottom you put the 100 because that is the total. On the right, it is the ratio with the information needed, and on the bottom you put the total amount. As I said, the number that comes directly after 220 is the number that comes after the word of. You can use the cross product. As I said, 15 times 220 over 100. Here is the cross product, and the answer here would be 33. So 15% of 220 would be 33. Another example is what percent of 500 is 80. Again, you write your proportion. Here what they are asking is the percent. You put the X on the top and the hundreds, and on the other side the two information related. The number that comes after the word of goes on the bottom, as you can see. So on the left we have the ratio representing the percent. On the bottom you put the 100 again. On the right hand side, the ratio with the information needed. On the bottom you put the total amount. Again, you use the cross product, and the answer is 16. So 80 is 16% of 500. We'll see you in class, and we'll talk about these things a little bit more, and we're going to solve examples. So it was a pleasure. See you in class. Bye.